Hi there.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Kirsti.
Hi,
I'll be your
Kirsti.
counselor.
Oh, great.
Have
Thanks
a
for having
seat.
me.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, before we get started, I just want to let you know that anything that you do say in here is completely confidential, unless you're planning on going out and harming someone or yourself or damaging any property, or if there's any reports of child abuse or anything in that regard. So,
Okay. I appreciate that. This is actually my first time in counseling, so
perfect.
that is helpful information
All right.
to have.
And another tidbit before we get into it is I will be frequently taking down notes, just so you're aware. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, just helpful for me. You can definitely see the notes. It's nothing private. It's just little tidbits that help with documentation afterwards. So,
Okay. Well, that's fine by me.
perfect.
All right.
So what brings us in today?
That's a good question. Well, overall, I'm feeling pretty well, but I have had a few stressors in the last week that I have thought been significant, and I think that's the kind of important topics to bring to counseling and reflect on. So about a month ago, I watched this Netflix documentary, and it was all about the environment and global climate change and trash and consumption in America. And it was very detailed, very informative to how many Americans are not recycling. And I know that sounds a little bit silly, but the documentary had an impact on me. And I caught myself taking a lot of the material that was discussed in the documentary and applying it to how I live my own life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it sounds like the video kind of hit home and sparked something within yourself.
Yeah, so it was, like I said, it was all about recycling and climate change, and I realized that a lot of how I was living my life is contributing to that problem. So I have been, for a few days after I saw the documentary, I was just noticing, I was mindful to how much trash I produce, and it was alarming. I, just really have a lot of trash that I produce that I didn't realize that I could even recycle. And, that includes cardboard, that includes glass, that includes lots of all sorts of different types of plastic. And, while that might not be a problem for us here in Bowling Green, I think that it is an issue that is kind of more on a global impact scale. And that is what kind of fed me to feel guilt. I think guilt is kind of at the core of this, and that's why I wanted to bring this up today. Is the topic of guilt. I think it's good to some extent, but at the same time, I feel really guilty for how much I have not, properly managed my waste and the things that I throw away. When it's not my problem anymore, it's easy just to throw things away, and it ends up in the ocean or something, and then it's not your problem. And that upset me.
Okay. Watching the movie sparked some alarms, set off some red flags in your head, which in turn made you more aware of your actions and what you're throwing away. got a little guilt from that, maybe a little down on yourself, disappointed that you're not doing your share, which is okay. And then you're also thinking about it on a global scale, not just here in Bowling Green, but globally, and how it's going to affect those in the future as well.
Definitely, definitely. Um, you know, to really get the full context of it, you need to know a little bit more about my life. And I have a chronic disease. I have type 1 diabetes. And so while the disease itself doesn't have anything to do with this topic, its management does. And so every month I receive a shipment of medical supplies that have lots of different materials and you know, things that I need to use to manage my disease. And a lot of that stuff, there's no proper way to responsibly throw it away. A lot of it is prepackaged plastics, lots of cardboard and items that aren't recycled in the first place because that won't pass medical grades or something like that. A lot of my actual utility of my disease management is just not the most environmentally friendly. While my health is most important on top of it, I also would love to learn about a more responsible way to take care of this without feeling that kind of guilt.
You're not only disappointed and down on yourself for recycling, but it also sounds like you're very frustrated and angry with the company that sends you your medical supplies for not making their products environmentally safe and more easily recyclable.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I don't really understand. I understand why they can't give me recycled products, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do with a jar full of used syringes when I'm done with them. Like, do you just take that to the recycling center? Do you how does that properly get disposed of? That's not quite the root of my guilt. My guilt is more so just, I think, me not being mindful enough or not knowing being too lazy to really recycle in the first place. That's where it comes into a lifestyle habit. But the medical supplies are an example of just, it's something that I have to manage that contributes to how much trash I produce as a human.
Yeah, so along with the guilt about it, you also feel a little foolish because you're not quite sure how to recycle things or like where to recycle things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe feel like you need a little bit more education in those areas.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's very true, and that might be something that I go to my community for. I might have to learn more about the resources here in Bowling Green. I might have to change my lifestyle a little bit more. And honestly, I think that's what most people are afraid of, and that's where the guilt comes from. But most people are too afraid to actually implement that change. So I don't know. It got to me kind of to a point where I was so just mentally caught up in it. Once you learn about these things on Netflix, then you do your research, and then you see it on Facebook, and then you see it all over the internet, and it takes a cyber mental toll on you. And it got to a point where I woke up from a deep sleep because I had a nightmare about Bowling Green getting swept away in a tsunami because of climate change, and it was because I didn't recycle. It was a little ridiculous, but that those kind of things in your dreams really say what your unconscious is thinking, and I believe that.
So you're feeling a little anxious. about it. You, after the movie, did some research. Research kind of got you thinking, got the wheels turning, and it's clearly having a very large impact on you and how you're thinking about your everyday life.
Yep. I think what I need to do is kind of just take it baby steps at first and realize that this discomfort that I'm feeling now and the guilt is the first part of changing. And, coming to therapy and talking it out is helpful. But ultimately, what I need to do is change my lifestyle. And I think that's what more people need to do as well. But, it doesn't matter how small or silly it feels to talk about this in therapy. Your global impact is important, and if you're not mindful to that, then you can experience great deals of guilt that other people might have to suffer the consequences for your neglect to be proactive or be responsible. So
I'm also hearing a little bit of hesitation in your voice when you talk about changing your lifestyle on a daily basis and making those small changes.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it kind of, a topic this big really can take so many specific changes. Like maybe I need to organize my house so that I can sort things out better, or maybe I need to get to the recycling center on a regular basis. Maybe I need to start a compost pile. Maybe I even need to limit how much meat I eat. Like, those are all environmental factors that I'm not taking into consideration, that I could change that, and that would help with the global issue of climate change, and that's kind of what I want to do.
So you want to start with yourself, making small changes, recycling more, organizing your house more, doing very environmental friendly things like eating more meat. But you're also hoping that that's going to spread and impact others in your life, and hopefully make it to the global level to where you are making a very significant change within our nation and in the world.
Definitely.
As itself.
I have a pretty big social circle, so hopefully if I can do it right, I can help other people make little changes like that in their lives. So.
And your friends are going to be supportive of this? They're going to be behind you?
Yeah, I'm going to show them that Netflix documentary.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
That's one of my plans. So, but yeah, that's kind of what's been on my mind. It's definitely something I'm trying to change, and I'm hopeful to come back next week and give an update to you on how much I've been able to recycle and how much I've kind of been taking steps into this new self that I'm trying to work on.
All right. So I think we had a very amazing session today. So thank you for sharing. I know the first session is very awkward at first, but you kind of slid right in, which I really appreciate.
Cool.
We talked about how the movie really impacted you and started thinking about how you can impact globally recycling and environments.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of went into about how it made you feel a little bit guilty, a little bit down on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Started talking about action steps and how you can organize your house and spread this to your friends and family and hopefully make a bigger change, not only in Bowling Green, but in America as well.
Yeah, that's the goal. Sounds
Absolutely.
About right.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, Kirsti. I appreciate it.
Next time when we meet, we will go over some action steps, start a little small, and how we can build to that, maybe work on a little bit of goals, and
Okay.
we can go from there, all right?
All right.
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
Thank you for coming in. Have a great day.
You too.